Hello and welcome to another episode of Chaos in London. And today, three mages are once again chatting in the back room of the Belladonna Bakery, the Hollow One Church in London, discussing the vital matters of magical import and which Star Wars film was the best.
Clearly, episode 1. Clearly.
Incidentally, Adib has 50 quintessence, and we both have prime sight, so he's glowing like a beacon.
I glow like the sun.
Just for reference,
that may or may not be the most quintessence you've ever seen on my character.
So, Adib, you're glowing today.
Eh?
You're, look like you've gotten yourself back up to strength and more.
Still a little room for improvement. I'd say I'm about 3/4 of the way.
How did you lose it all again?
Well, I didn't lose it. I spent it.
Oh, what'd you do?
Bribing my genie to rescue someone from Egypt.
Ah, yeah.
I also owe him more every week for the next 2 feedings. 2 feedings. Then I'm back to normal.
So, Adib, we've been talking about spirits here. How do you see your genie in the spirit hierarchy?
I honestly don't know.
From observing the sins, I'd say they're probably Incarna.
Perhaps.
Your Jin seems to think is on the same level.
I honestly couldn't say. I know very little about it other than it exists, and I know how to command it. And more importantly, how to barter with it. Technically, I could just order it to do whatever I wished. Quite literally. But abusing such things tends to have its own problems.
Jennifer, I don't know if we've covered that already properly. Do you understand what I mean when I say an Incarna?
Did we lose Jennifer?
Oh, I was talking and my mic was muted.
Lovely. Yay.
A little bit.
So, some people rank spirits roughly by how powerful they are. The highest rank is Celestines. That would be beings like the sun, the moon, the earth, and all their spirit reflections. And then below the greats in Celestines are the Incarna, which would probably be the sins that we've dealing with. Probably the gods. There might be some, on the borderline.
Huh.
And then below those you've got two or three lower ranks. Obviously, I don't really actually know this stuff quite so well as I possibly should, but okay.
I can't say I know terribly much.
And those are all distinct from ghosts. When people say spirits, they tend to mean spirits of the spirit world, not the spirits of former humans that go to the underworld.
So where do those fit in?
What's that?
Where do the ghosts fit in?
They have their own places, their own. There's the world, and then there's the reflection of that in the Umbra, And then if you go deeper and deeper, there's a deep umber where the realm of abstract concepts and where the gods reside. And somehow if you go the other way, conceptually, if you go down rather than up, there's what some people call the dark umbra or the underworld. It's much harder to get to visit, and so much less people have dealings with it. It's not no, unsurprisingly, the underworld is not a happy place.
Do you know anyone who's gone to it?
Probably. But, I mean, again, some people don't talk about it because, again, it's obviously stigma about necromancers. No, it's not forbidden in the traditions, but obviously some people don't like them.
Okay.
All right, some people who possibly have, but I say it's generally a harder place to get to, and it's not a trip to be done lightly. You know, there are myths about descending into the underworld. They tend not to end well.
Let's see. There was didn't Hercules have to go there for one of his trials or whatever?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I mean,
Or is it just a movie?
It's the story of rescuing Persephone from the underworld and the pomegranate seeds not working out. Orpheus.
Do you like Greek, mythology and all that?
I mean, I suppose I was raised on some of the old stories. I mean, from Italy. So,
what do you think about the Medusa story?
well, it's not a parable about people who are being paralyzed with fear. Like a deer in the headlights, being metaphorically turned to stone.
Yeah, sounds about right.
We also see it as yet another story of the heroic man taming the wild free woman.
That too sounds about right for the Greeks, for that kind of mythos. Think. So, when you say the gods reside, like in the deep umbra, was it?
Well, when they're not running the crossroads, I suppose.
Now, which gods are we talking about? Like everybody from any mythology, or
The deep umbra is the nearer umbra is a reflection of Earth, whereas the deep umbra tends to be more a place of concepts. So yes, there are the gods of the different pantheons. There are also more strange and abstract concepts, things completely alien. Possibly the higher angels as well. It's not a place that I would likely visit. I mean, but before there are also the horizon realms. The crossroads is a horizon realm. These are often artificially constructed places. I think some may be natural, which are little reality bubbles with their own codified laws.
See, I've always been a little hard pressed to believe all that stuff, but given the thing I've seen recently, yeah. Well, then again, yeah. So angels are actually a thing? I guess they would be.
Well, you've met enough gods. It seems unreasonable.
Yeah. Just always seemed to totally different kind of feel. Power-wise, you have Zeus flooding the world and throwing lightning bolts, and then you have I don't know a lot of stories about angels doing a ton, but I'm not really religious, so.
Wow. I mean, there are deeper questions there as to, are all the gods of equal power? Are the ones who've had more belief or more worship for longer more powerful? Or is it stories that speak of that power that's in that power? And is there some true creator God that is more powerful than the others? And these are deep questions. I'm not sure anyone has the absolute answers.
Probably not.
I mean, certainly if you were to ask the chorus, they would tell you that yes, there is the one who is above and beyond the universe, and that many of the different religions are ways to know the one.
I don't think I've ever spoken with a member of their tradition.
Yeah. I think the majority seem to be of the religions of the book. So that is there. You can see how they would come to that belief. But then, But then the Umbra can sometimes it fits your expectations. If you go somewhat, if you venture into the deep Umbra, you may well find what you expect and believe you'll find.
Huh.
I mean, it may also be that there are different afterlives there. There may be a heaven and a Valhalla and a Elysium and other places there which are not the true afterlife. They're just a place that fits your expectations, possibly populated by spirits who honestly think they are humans who once lived.
So, like, what sort of spirits would you find there? Like, are we referring to like Native American spirits or?
Fred, you have me. I don't know so much about Native American spirits. I don't know. And say, I've read about some of this stuff. I've been taught about it. I don't generally have had limited first-hand experience.
I think.
Yes. If I put my mind to it, I can go to the spirit world. But again, I don't generally go explore the depths. I mean, I can think of people in this that you have. I mean, Eli probably has. I mean, he was involved when there was a lich trying to kill the gods. So I assume that was in the Deep Umbra.
There was a lich that tried to kill the gods.
Yeah, apparently Odin got killed. Okay, I'm not sure quite how permanent that is.
Okay.
This was some months ago before I arrived here, but I've heard about it.
Wait, liches are a thing?
Apparently, yes. They're very rare.
Huh.
Well, some people want to live forever. One way they found to do it.
I don't live that long. Did it? So, what kind of lich was it? Any idea?
I'm not even sure how to answer that question.
Like, was it like a rogue mage, or was it a member of an order that just had been hiding itself? Or
I think you'd have to. I wasn't involved. You'd probably better off asking Eli and the others.
Okay.
But I believe they finally destroyed it. But I think there's mentioned at the trial, wasn't it? Nicodemus mentioned dealing with a lich briefly. as part of his past adventures.
Did that have anything to do with the mist thing?
I don't think so. It was destroyed some months ago.
Oh, okay.
So the myths we've resolved. The myths were all caused by Silver, or so at least so he claims.
I don't know what a silver is.
Silver is a name. Silver is one of the fairies.
Oh, okay.
Not an attractive fellow. Young man, silver eyes. Seems to be aging very fast. As in the space of a few weeks, he's aged years.
Ew.
Which is odd. I didn't expect the fair folk to age.
That sucks.
I don't. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just an appearance thing, and maybe he's got a glamour up.
Poor guy.
So no. Silver admitted to. See, it wasn't fully intentional, but he. Well, it was intentional, but he wasn't fully controlled. He called up the mists. That was an unfortunate incident, and he did it. I don't quite understand it. So I think he said the other fairy, Aru, was involved. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really know if we should believe them. It seems difficult to accept that just one being can casually conjure up something so powerful and so huge an effect.
I would think with that, yeah, not without a lot of effort. But I mean, we have all sorts of stuff running around the city, so I'm not really sure how powerful the fairy folk are.
Well, yeah, Silver's anything to go by. It's very powerful. I have seen Silver. He did when we were fighting the Maenads, and he called up a great torrent of a tidal wave of water, which healed everyone.
That's different.
I mean, it didn't bring back the dead, but it healed people who were dying en masse.
And what were you fighting? A Maenad?
Yeah, we were 4 Maenads. These were spirits who'd incarnated bodies from Greek mythology. Spirits of debauchery and tearing men apart.
How'd they get here?
I don't know. They were apparently there. They were trying to impress Dionysus, who runs the bar.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make sense.
But they were outside the deposit ripping people apart.
That's terrible.
So that was less helpful.
So the spirit thing, is it they always cross over this easily or come out of the Umbrella this easily, or is it just something to do with the sins?
So between our world and the near spirit world, there is a barrier. Some call it the gauntlet. It can be stronger or weaker depending where you are. It tends to be stronger in cities. It's possible to artificially raise and lower it. I haven't checked what's happened. It may be something is lowering the gauntlet, which makes it easier for things to travel each way. That's a good point, actually. It might be worth checking around London, see if the gauntlet is being affected.
Was it so? You and Adib and others went to Egypt, right?
Yes. So Adib has been trying to impress upon his little following that magic is real. He wants to teach them hedge magic and so on and so on. So he put on a demonstration to prove to them the magic is real. Unfortunately, he decided to have his Jinn teleport them all to the pyramids of Giza.
Did it appear difficult for them to do the, I guess the transporting, as it were?
Oh no, the Jinn was quite able to do it. Unfortunately, we then got attacked while we were there by a large, like 14-foot snake.
Yeah, that's weird.
An undead snake.
Ugh.
Well, based in the aura anyway. Which the Jinn got us back. Unfortunately, the snake came with us. So we were quite fortunate, as it turned out, and we had someone with us who could able to kill it. But that's actually unexpected, and his cult rather broke up and ran away in terror.
Has he had any luck getting them back?
I think he had, not that I've heard about. He may have given up on them. It may be that taking in poor homeless people who probably have to have their own, should we say, issues, may not be the best of the most stable recruits.
Probably not, but he seems very intent on.
He is. So his latest little idea, which to be fair is quite sensible, is he's trying to consume a bit more of our culture, so he can understand the modern society, understand this. He's looking for symbols to rally people behind. So he's been watching popular films to understand what symbols have an impact on people.
That's not a bad idea.
No. However, he's developed this unhealthy fascination with the Sith from Star Wars.
Okay, that's not good.
And with Sauron.
That's worse.
The fact is that he was already making magic rings.
So we should get him a Sauron helmet? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know what his plan is next.
I feel like it needs a Sauron helmet. Yeah, it's not good. I'm trying to think if there's like a modern movie that. Well, he's not trying to learn culture. He's just trying to identify with symbols that people identify with, right?
Both would be a bad thing.
Does he have a cell phone yet?
We suggest possibly. I'm not sure. So we told him Lord of the Rings, home Star Wars for obvious reasons. I think what else did we suggest? Well, we're in England, so I told him to go watch a Robin Hood movie. And I thought the idea of the heroic struggle would appeal to him.
I don't know if that's his thing. Apparently, the Sith are his thing.
Well, I didn't know that when I made the suggestion, but as you could argue, the Sith were doing a heroic struggle.
Yeah. In a way, I guess.
But so.
Trying to think.
Anyway, so that's. But anyway, I feel like I'm talking enough. So, I mean, hopefully you've got a little bit of grasp after the last few weeks of spirits and how they work. So yes, some spirits are able to manifest as a thing they can do, rather than just being summoned. But perhaps you want to pick up where we last left off. You were telling me about these vampires.
Oh, the Sabbat.
Yes.
They're a little more. I guess where the other faction, at least from my understanding, is trying to fit in a way. They're not as worried about it as far as being vampires, to be vampires, not to be human. At least if my understanding is correct. They have different groups, from what I could see. Like we have different traditions and such, and orders, and
Mhm.
There were what's the word they used? I believe there was a hierarchy of some sort, but I don't know the specifics. They didn't really share that. But you definitely had people above others in the group.
Okay, well, like most societies, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
But do any? I mean, did they? How did they look?
most of them looked human. There were some that looked more vampire. Uh, there were a lot. I saw a bunch that were into to body mutilation and you know um, piercings and tattoos and all different kinds of things like that. Um, there was a definite predatory kind of vibe with a lot of them that I got.
Hmm. Did they? Did you only see them at night?
Yeah, no, we worked with them.
Okay,
Um,
so the thing about the whole day night sunlight is probably, you think that's probably true?
oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain. I don't think I ever saw one during the day,
Mm.
but I don't know about the holy water or the garlic thing. I have a feeling the garlic thing probably doesn't work.
Mm. Did you? I mean, did they? What sort of names did they have?
Just like us,
Just normal modern Western names.
Yeah, if they were from here, or if you had anybody from the Middle East, they would have names fitting that, and so on.
What did they seem to be from all over the world?
From what I saw, it varied as much as people.
Like, oh, okay. I guess New York is quite varied, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the La Sombra, I saw some more um, Spanish, I guess, heritage with a few of them.
The somber. Doesn't that mean La Sombra? Doesn't that mean like the shadows?
And I think I'm fairly certain they dealt with some of that, but
Mm.
yeah, they were a little tight-lipped, and they weren't very keen on working with, at least with me. I'm not sure about my mentor, but
Mm. So, I mean, what was your? Was it you were supplying them with? Was it gold or?
yeah,
Mm.
it's one of the things I learned.
Do you know what your
I
mentor
do.
was getting in return?
He information, I think sometimes, and other times other things.
Mm.
He mentioned once that a lot of them were older than him, and some of them were centuries old, so they
Mm.
had information he needed or was interested in, or he was a little tight-lipped about what the general nature and dealings were.
Well, yeah, a lot of people seem to have issues with them. Well, I mean, what's her name? Yeah, Jasmine was openly, declaring if she met any vampires, they crossed her, she'd kill them when they left.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
good to be aware of these things. So
Never really heard them mention any. What is Jasmine?
werewolf.
Okay, I've never heard them really talk about them, but I don't even know if there were any in New York. I assume they're. But
Mm.
I don't know. I've never seen them fight once. I don't know how that would turn out.
Mm. I mean, how did you? I mean, do they have the huge weapons that you've seen?
I saw baseball bats, chains, that kind of stuff, guns, stuff
Right.
like base stuff.
the same weapons that a human gang would use.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those, and I saw a person who looked like a corpse.
Did you see? Did they show any particular powers? Like were they really strong or really fast? Or
I saw ones move fast, faster than what would be, I would think would be normal. And then, strength wise, I saw somebody that didn't look like a bodybuilder, but he was lifting like a safe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it didn't look like it broke a sweat doing it.
Mm.
But I'm still researching, working on that just in case they ever come around.
Well, as you say, in the same way that we're assuming there's, well, there could well be such beings in this city.
I'm sure there are.
Well, yeah, they may wander to the crossroads sooner or later. But you said they're not all like the ones you met. You don't think?
No, at least from what I saw, they talked about the ones being, not pretending to be human, and the other, I think it was Camarilla or something. They said, but they don't behave like vampires should. So I'm assuming they're more human in nature than vampire, uncaring murderer thing.
Mm.
I don't really know how that played out. I don't know if they won it back or not. Didn't stick around to check.
So, I mean, if one was to meet a vampire on the streets of London, what would be your advice?
Be polite. I mean, that's just trying to kill you.
Mm.
But, I mean, you're able to detect if one would be.
Well, I can see yours. So I know they undead look pale, don't they?
Yeah, just be polite. I would assume. Just
Well, if I did beat well, I bet the snake that was looked like it was undead.
oh yeah, no, killing it was probably the best option there. I guess.
Well, yeah, I shot it. It didn't do anything.
Oh.
Well, Ian.
Maybe we can make something for that. Oh no. I'll have to do a little research. I guess just act like it's a normal person until given a reason not to.
I mean, can they spot us?
I don't know.
If we just act like a normal person and wander off.
I mean, maybe they might be able to. Can most of the things in this world discern what something else is? Besides mortals?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's like obviously it's different in our case because we are still human, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're not manifestly undead or something. So, I assume we're well. I mean, that's about said. I mean, you could see yours. I take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got sparkles in our auras, so our auras do look different. But I don't know. I don't know if vampires can see auras or not. I don't know if. Let me think. Maybe not, because like the werewolves I've met, they didn't know who was what. They've had to ask. I mean, maybe they're just playing dumb. But certainly there was people who sat down and they've on the website had to go, what is he? Because they don't know. And the fairies, I mean, then they've not always. Actually, Guinevere was quite perceptive, but the other fairies they didn't seem to particularly astute in that respect. It's hard to say. Maybe it's matter of personal variation. It's something that not all mages can see auras. Maybe some of them are just deliberately, say, not declaring.
Well, I mean, for the vampire thing, I would just assume maybe they can, or that maybe some can, just like with us.
I mean, I suppose those are always the option. We can cloak our auras and make it look completely mundane.
Yeah.
I have thought about doing that, but I just it was people just it was just confuse people. They react badly. They'll see I've got something to hide, or I start doing that.
Well, I mean, we have the whole technocracy thing. That would be a reason to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Has there any murmuring with them on as far as the Adib thing?
With the technocracy?
Yeah.
Nothing I've heard about. I mean, Eli, I don't know if you've heard, Eli was trying to organise an attack on a technocratic hideout. I don't know if you heard about this.
Mm-mm.
So there's a technocratic, I don't know what they call it, is it construct? I'm not sure. They're a base where they're held in a captive Valkyrie.
Like an actual Valkyrie?
A spirit Valkyrie, yes.
Huh.
And have been for a while. And the Norse Pantheon have asked him to rescue it, and he would call people together, try and come up with a plan. But he hasn't got a good plan, but he called people together to try and come up with one. But I'm not quite sure, I don't think.
Have they been leaving stuff in the city alone thus far?
Well, yes, I guess so, more or less. Oh yeah, people are worried that if we do that, that's going to cause an escalation, and they will respond. And there are places where there are people who are not frontline fighters, like this place, for example, that they might then counterattack.
Right. I mean, that's a pretty safe assumption.
And that are we prepared for that kind of like escalation? And also, have they actually got a coherent plan and the right people to actually pull the attack off anyway?
Are you going to go?
I wasn't planning to particularly. I mean, I'm not that I don't necessarily disagree with him, but don't really think it's I've got the right killer attitude for it. Maybe
That's
I can help in some more less direct way.
Well, if you need help making anything for it, if you want to help with that, let me know and I'll give you a hand.
Well, I do speak to Eli if you see him around. He's the one coordinating, but I mean, if nothing else, they may well want to have people standing by who can see to the wounded, if there are any. So they've got the location, but it appears to be in a residential area, like as in flats. So the assumption is the technocratic base is maybe underground, or it may be in some kind of folded space, or it may be in the Umbra. We aren't quite sure.
That's going to be a mess.
And there's concern, of course, you're going to have a tower block full of civilians.
Yeah.
Which could make lots of things awkward. So, and of course, then there might be the idea of scouting the place out beforehand, but then you risk tipping our hand.
Right.
So again, these are complicated matters, and there are some people in the city who have the military experience and mindset, but trying to organise everyone and get them committed to come with a plan has proven difficult.
Have they talked to the fairies?
Not in a really clear, direct way. I mean, I'm sure it's been mentioned in passing to one or two of them. I don't know. Possibly. I mean, possibly it's not their fight. Possibly lots of things. Yes, there was the less. I think it was possibly meant as a joke that we could try to recruit the fairies and the werewolves and anyone else we could find and send them all in together. There's also something that, because, as you know, our power using the arts for us will be very difficult in a technocratic construct,
Right.
as you can imagine. But obviously, beings who use only static magic won't have that problem.
I mean, that may be something to consider, having a little coalition or something. Because, I mean, I imagine the fairy might have a connection with the Valkyrie of some sort. They're mythical.
Fairies tend to be quite different to spirits. Again, different angle of reality, I think. They're not generally part of the spirit world proper.
Okay.
I think some other layer of reality again. I don't really understand it. I'm not sure if there's more than one can. So I've seen the werewolves fight. They've been very effective. I mean, if we get a group of them to go on the mission, that would certainly help.
My internet died. I apologize, folks.
No problem. I'm actually about to head off.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there then.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Players of Plan. Thank you, watchers watching. This has been another episode of Chaos in London, or Make Idle Sword talk about the other supernaturals behind their backs.